What up, peeps? We are back and talking NBA 2K22. And I wanted to break down an article written by Kevin Scott titled The 5 Do's and Don'ts for Being a Good Teammate in NBA 2K22's No Squads Old Gym. And for those of you who are new to 2K22 or the Old Gym, it's actually located in the city and you quickly gain access to it through the career mode. The good thing is the Old Gym requires no squads, so you don't have to have a pre-made team, which makes this really quick and easy, an easy way to get into a game, especially if you're solo or even a casual player if you just want to get in and get a quick game in. So let's go ahead and start with the don'ts. And number one, pretty simple, don't quit. I know some games could get frustrating, without a doubt, but don't leave your teammates hanging. This article makes a great statement regarding the fact that the Old Gym is practically predicated on the notion that you really don't have any connection to those you are playing alongside, which certainly makes it easier to walk out of the gym mid-game. And as I mentioned, let's not even go that route. The games are pretty quick anyway, it's not taking up much of your time. And the way I look at it, there are a couple of things. First of all, who's to say you can't make a comeback? Whether it's luck or you just manage to battle back, it's very possible. I've seen people quit when they are down only 5 points. I mean, anything could happen, but you won't know if you quit the game, for sure. Second, whether you are winning or losing, I feel like you are always learning. I say the more minutes, the better you grow your experience, the more styles that you face. Everyone doesn't ball the same, so if you quit, I think you're cutting your time. And this time could be crucial to you seeing different things, just experiencing different situations in the game. It could really help you as you keep progressing your character in my career. Number two, don't blindly pass the ball. This is a pretty easy trap to fall into, especially when you're playing 3-on-3 with a lot of open space. There are definitely plenty of times I've passed the ball without fully thinking it through. You will face competition online that will jump them passing lanes, so you want to be very cautious. And personally, turning the ball over, especially online, makes me feel horrible. It's like, let me take my time. And as mentioned, you want to practice how and when to use different kinds of passes like lob passes, bounce, alley-oops, and work on using the icons to guarantee that your pass is going to end up getting to the player you want. Number three, don't take bad shots. Perhaps the worst kind of teammate to find yourself grouped up with in the Old Gym is the one that clearly thinks they can make every contested shot. I understand the feeling. I understand the satisfaction one would receive by draining multiple threes in your opponent's face. But let's be honest. Setting up shot selection by working with your team. This would allow you to get open looks by, say, coming off of a screen, for example. It's a higher percentage shot. This will lead to you shooting a higher percentage. And as noted, if you have ball handling skills, break your defender down in isolation to gain some separation. That's always a good way to create a better shot, create that distance to create a better shot opportunity instead of just forcing shots that are totally contested, the defender's right in your face. I would focus on trying to get creative, working with your team to get open. That would be a good thing. Number four, don't get in the way. With so few people on the court in a 3v3 game, something that can drive you nuts is when you're trying to beat your defender off the dribble to get to the hoop or an easy 2 points and teammates keep clogging the lane. I definitely see this happening a lot. I feel like the first couple of possessions is good to study on how your teammates like to rotate and maneuver in general. Also noted, to avoid this, make sure you either roll to the basket or fade to the corner after setting that screen. You also want to pick the right moments to try to cut to the basket away from the ball. You want to make sure things are spaced out. I mean, it's very important to just create that space. That will open up a ton of opportunities, whether one-on-one opportunities or the ability to draw an additional defender in so you can dish out a nice assist. Number 5, don't get discouraged by losses. You may question yourself, am I just getting stuck with bad teammates, or am I the bad teammate? And honestly, it could be a bit of both. And as stated, have a short-term memory and forget about the previous losses. You are starting off with a clean slate going into that next match. Clear your mind, you have new teammates, and a new opportunity to get that W. Also, whenever I run into multiple losses in a row, it's not a bad idea to take a break. Walk away for a minute, take a breather, come back later fresh and ready to go. Now let's move on to the do's. Number 6, do know your role. A good habit to get into at the outset of every game in the old gym is to take stock of what types of builds the other players on your team are using. So try to understand the strengths and the weaknesses of you and your teammates. Example, who has the better skill set to bring the ball up the court? Who has the ability to dominate the boards? Rebounding. Understanding this could go a long way and could be a key to victory. Number 7, do adapt to your opponents on defense. Something that you're bound to learn the hard way pretty early in the old gym is that you unfortunately won't always be suited to guard every player that you're matched up against. You want to do your best to analyze and determine what matchups do well and try to combat that as best as you can. If you're a little slower on defense, do your best to anticipate their movements to cut them off and force them to shoot the ball. If you are at a disadvantage rebounding, you want to position yourself the best way you can to contest the boards. And most importantly, if your teammate is struggling defending their opponent, or if you see a good opportunity to rotate and help, trap, disrupt, or slow down their opponent, that would be key. And looking for those opportunities on defense is going to be a huge help for your team. I actually really enjoy playing a lockdown, annoying defender online. Even more than playing offense, I typically embrace that defense role. And also you can look at roles in that way as well. Maybe you just want to be a great defender. You can embrace whichever role you pick, whether it's offensively or defensively. Number 8, do communicate and strategize. It's not an absolute necessity that you wear a headset when you play in the old gym. After all, there will be plenty of teammates not using one, but it's definitely an advantage to be able to discuss your game plan and any alterations to the game plan in the midst of action. And that's pretty much key, the midst of action, because communicating with one or even both teammates is a clear advantage, especially with how fast-paced the game is. Things like calling out for help on defense, things just click a lot better with voice communication. I mean, without a doubt. Now be warned, there are people who communicate, but more in a toxic manner. So do your best to ignore them, or you can go into the audio settings and set the in-game VoIP volume to 0, so you don't have to hear that negativity while you're balling. That always helps. Number 9, do get back on defense. Transition points can be a killer in the old gym, as it's not uncommon to see cherry pickers looking for a quick outlet pass that can get them an easy dunk or even an open three-pointer. And honestly, it's easy to get lazy. Without a doubt, especially at the beginning of a game where you get caught and give up an easy layup. Outside of turnovers, you need to choose carefully when trying to crash the boards on offense and opt more often to accept that you won't be able to grab the board. I find myself in these situations a lot where I'll just try to get every rebound, but I know I'm not in position, so I'd probably be better off just getting back on defense and just letting that one go. Bottom line is you might go hard on the offensive boards to only fail because you're not in that position. This will leave you vulnerable on defense. Sometimes you could just play it safe just to cut down on those fast transition points. And lastly, number 10, do finish off your wins. Wins should never be taken for granted in the old gym. So when you're fortunate enough to build a lead in game, put it away as soon as you can without letting your opponent hang around. And I usually describe this as stepping on your opponent's neck. So I mean, basically just finishing them. Sometimes you build a big lead and then you think you can clown around, shoot deep, unnecessary threes, start throwing bad passes, turning the ball over. Before you know it, your opponent is back in the game, and you end up throwing the game. So if you get a big lead, be very wary, and make sure your opponent does not sneak back into the game. And that's it, peeps. Those are the 5 do's and don'ts for being a good teammate in NBA 2K22's No Squads Old Gym. Hopefully these tips make you think a little bit and just give you some ideas of how to go about some of the situations when playing in the old gym, because there's no squads, everyone's random. You're going to have a wide range of characters who you're matched up with, both personality and rating. So hopefully these could help. Be sure to go over to operationsports.com, read the complete and full article, and let us know if you have any other tips that you could share or any other experiences that may help others while playing in the old gym or just playing online in NBA 2K22 in general. Please be sure to also like, share, and subscribe. And we will be back with more sports gaming news. And all right, peeps, until next time, yeah.